All right, we now shift our attention to the United Kingdom, where towns and cities across the UK have been engulfed in riots and unrest over the past week. The question on everyone's mind: is there a civil war brewing in the UK? The origins to the unrest can be traced back to the tragic stabbing of 3 young girls at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class in Southport last Tuesday. This incident set off a major wave of violence and disorder across the UK. The initial suspect, a 17-year-old boy originally from Cardiff, was arrested shortly after the attack. However, due to his age, the police were initially unable to name him by law. As per reports, this lack of information, it created scope for misinformation and speculation, which quickly spread across social media platforms. False claims began to circulate online, with some suggesting the suspect was an asylum seeker who had arrived in the UK by boat last year. Others labelled him a Muslim immigrant, fueling further distrust and anger. According to reports, as these false narratives took hold, anti-immigration sentiments boiled over, leading to violent protests in cities like London, Rotherham, Middlesbrough, Liverpool and Bolton. Mosques, libraries and citizens' advice centres were reportedly targeted in these riots. Hotels housing asylum seekers were attacked, and more than 400 people have been arrested nationwide so far. So what is driving the surge of violence? Well, according to political experts, the far right has been exploiting tragedies to mobilize their base and push their political agenda. In the process, the tragedy exploits existing prejudices and rallies people to their cause, regardless of the case's facts. The prime suspect in this, born in Cardiff to Rwandan parents, was eventually named after court lifted the requirement for his anonymity. Despite this clarification, the riots have continued and the violence shows no signs of abating. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has condemned the violence, labelling it far-right thuggery and warning that those involved will face the full force of the law and will regret taking part.
People in this country have a right to be safe, and yet we've seen Muslim communities targeted, attacks on mosques, other minority communities singled out, Nazi salutes in the street, attacks on the police, wanton violence alongside racist rhetoric. So no, I won't shy away from calling it what it is: far-right thuggery.
All right, then on Monday, the government called for an emergency meeting to address the crisis. Ministers, civil servants, police, intelligence officers gathered for an update on the weekend's violence and to plan a response for the coming days. As per reports, British Home Secretary Yvette Cooper pointed out that social media companies must take responsibility for the role they play in spreading misinformation. According to experts, the ongoing scenes of violence are reminiscent of the 2011 riots in the UK, and the government's response may mirror those measures, including fast-tracking prosecutions and deploying additional police officers. In Rotherham, 6 arrests were made and 1 person was charged following Sunday's riots. At least 12 police officers were injured after anti-immigration demonstrators threw planks of wood and sprayed them with fire extinguishers. The violence further reached a hotel housing asylum seekers, where residents, including children, had to be evacuated. In Middlesbrough, 43 people were arrested following a night of violence where windows of houses and cars were broken and objects were thrown at police. Anti-immigration protesters in Bolton were confronted by a group of up to 300 masked individuals, shouting Allahu Akbar. As per reports, the violence has also spread to cities across UK like Belfast, Hartlepool, Hull, Stoke-on-Trent, Nottingham and Sunderland. The scenes of chaos and destruction raise critical questions about the state of the UK society, where false narratives and misinformation are readily believed and acted upon. The roots of this conflict lie in long-standing issues of immigration, social integration and economic deprivation that have further been exacerbated by misinformation on social media. For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.